Guyana, and on this auspicious day, the managers and staff of 107.1 FM would like to extend to all Amerindians a happy Amerindian Heritage Month 2021. Amerindians reflect the lifestyle, beliefs, and way of life of people who are born in an Amerindian village. We here at 107.1 FM are part of the process of preserving the Amerindian heritage and to be the source of reference. Happy Amerindian Heritage Month 2021, Guyana. Guyana, and on this auspicious day, the managers and staff of 107.1 FM would like to extend to all Amerindians a happy Amerindian Heritage Month 2021. Amerindians reflect the lifestyle, beliefs, and way of life of people who are born in an Amerindian village. We here at 107.1 FM are part of the process of preserving the Amerindian heritage and to be the source of reference. Happy Amerindian Heritage Month 2021, Guyana.
That little ditty we used to torment our teachers with when we were kids goes something like this. Onward, upward, Mary had a go. Day by day she tied it to a rope, till at length they got past the rope, and Miss Mary had to run behind it. We had a lot of fun with that, but do you actually know how beautiful these words are? Here's the Song of Guyana's Children by W. Hawley Bryant. Born in the land of the mighty Roraima, land of great rivers and far-stretching sea, so like the mountains, the sea, and the river, great, wide, and deep in our lives would we be. Onward, upward, may we ever go, day by day in strength and beauty grow, till at length we each of us may show what Guyana sons and daughters can be. Born in the land of Kaijur, shining splendor, land of the palm tree, the croton and fern, we would possess all the virtues and graces, we all the glory of goodness would learn. Onward, upward, may we ever go, day by day in strength and beauty grow, till at length we each of us may show what Guyana sons and daughters can be.
Guyana, and on this auspicious day, the managers and staff of 107.1 FM would like to extend to all Amerindians a happy Amerindian Heritage Month 2021. Amerindians reflect the lifestyle, beliefs, and way of life of people who are born in an Amerindian village. We here at 107.1 FM are part of the process of preserving the Amerindian heritage and to be the source of reference. Happy Amerindian Heritage Month 2021, Guyana.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, here on Benchcop Radio 107.1 FM, here on Facebook and at our radio station around Guyana. And all who are tuned in, I say to you, good evening. And thank you for allowing me the time to be in your company as we are expected to spend probably the next 55 minutes discussing Guyana and what is happening here in our beautiful homeland. Of course, before we do that, I want to join with the Benchcop family the Benchcop Radio 107.1 family, and extend Indigenous Heritage Month greetings to all our Indigenous brothers and sisters. Today being September 1st, 2021, we are beginning the entire month of celebration into Indigenous Heritage Month. It is very sad that they will not be allowed to celebrate it with the pomp and scenery as it would normally happen, not only because of the COVID pandemic, but because of the situation of our country in terms of our economic side and people not being able to basically participate as much as they would want to in terms of spending freely. And that's because of the current situation in terms of cost of living, in terms of not getting adequate sums of money in their pocket, disposable income, and the likes. But notwithstanding that, it is the month of our indigenous people, and we will like to celebrate them. They are very important to our nation. We have indigenous brothers and sisters across this entire country. Regions 1, 2, here in Region 3. We also have an indigenous mission, Santa Mission or Santa Aratak. I had the honor and privilege of meeting my Amerindian or indigenous brothers and sisters at Santa Aratak before, and they, I can tell you, would normally enjoy Indigenous Heritage Month in very, very unique ways and means. Region 4, Region 5, Region 6, all across Guyana, 7, 8, 9, and 10, they are preparing to celebrate Indigenous Heritage Month. And we have to recognize our Indigenous brothers and sisters because of the sacrifice that they make towards the development of our country. From the coalition standpoint, APNU AFC, we also recognize our indigenous brothers and sisters and their contribution to society right in the National Assembly. We have from region number 1 an indigenous brother that represents the Barima Waini region in the name of Ronald Cox. And Ronald Cox, for those of you who may not know, was born and bred in Imbatero. Imbatero is a community far off. I think that will be the northwestern side of Region 1, very close to Venezuela. And when you listen to his story, you are moved. You would have to be moved if you should have the opportunity to hear his story. But he is a qualified teacher. He teaches at the secondary school there in Region 1, I think at Mabaruma. And he has elevated himself and he's now a member of parliament for the coalition. When we talk diversity, we talk about inclusivity, we talk about representing our people, and the coalition does exactly that in terms of showing our talent to the world. And Ronald Cox sits as our member of parliament for region number 1. And I believe at the same time, I must extend speedy recovery and wish unto my brother Mervyn Williams a speedy recovery. As we know, he is unfortunately in the ICU unit at the Liliendal COVID facility. He has been there, I think, for just over 2 or more weeks. And the last I heard is that he is recovering. And I trust to God that he will recover speedy and join us back in this fight for a better Guyana for the future of all. Marvin Williams is a former member of parliament for the People's National Congress Reform and the APNU AFC. Marvin has a track record that is second to none, basically, in terms of his youthfulness and fighting for what is right and what he believes in and subjecting himself to the principles of the coalition. Marvin, I don't know if you can hear me, but if you can, I am sure that everyone who's looking at us here right now will join with me in saying a speedy recovery to you, my brother, and have faith, stay the course, and you will recover. Um, sometimes you know you go into that state of worry when you see certain things, but have faith, and I'm sure that Marvin will recover and recover well. I was telling you about Region 1, us having our MP there that represent us from the indigenous family, but we also have from Region number 7, Don Hastings Williams. And Dawn has been a former minister within the Ministry of Communities with responsibility for water, and her latest was Minister of State, one of the highest office of our land she held, and she performed exceptionally well as a minister of government. And she's also an indigenous sister, and we would like to extend indigenous heritage greetings to Don Hastings Williams. And for many of you who may not know, Juretta Finance also has indigenous heritage in her. So we would like to also take the opportunity in extending indigenous greetings to her also.
The
In fact,
government.
all of
Don't shout
Guyana,
at me,
because
sir. You with your one sexy subject, don't shout at me. Mr. Speaker.
that is Juretta Finance. For those of you who don't know, that is Juretta Finance, and she has indigenous heritage in her also. So, on behalf of the APNU AFC family, I want to take the opportunity in extending indigenous greetings to all our indigenous brothers and sisters as we fight for a better Guyana, not only for our indigenous brothers and sisters, but for all our Guyanese people. And I hope and pray that the indigenous people can continue to grow from strength to strength. I know that the coalition during their 5 years in government began the process of bridging the gap that exists between the hinterland and the coastland. It was our firm belief that our indigenous brothers and sisters must also be exposed and be able to access the same quality of service that we would normally get here on the coastline. And President Granger and his team started that process of building communities, providing potable water to a number of indigenous communities, easy access through proper roads. I know of we provided communication to some of these communities in the form of radio stations. I personally was in Region 9 when we were commissioning water wells in places like Iowa, places like uh, Mokomoko. I can't remember all the names, but we were in the interior location of Region 9 and Region 8, Region 7, where we were focusing on improving the lives of our indigenous people. And we also would have developed better road network in Letem. We also did it in Region 1, Mabaruma, Muruka. I know of a bridge that was built there in Muruka also. So there are many projects that I can point to.
Guyana, and on this auspicious day, the managers and staff of 107.1 FM would like to extend to all Amerindians a happy Amerindian Heritage Month 2021. Amerindians reflect the lifestyle, beliefs, and way of life of people who are born in an Amerindian village. We here at 107.1 FM are part of the process of preserving the Amerindian heritage and to be the source of reference. Happy Amerindian Heritage Month 2021, Guyana.
Sorry about that. I was cut off there. I think the PPP is monitoring my network. I think the PPP has a hand in what is going on here with the internet access. And sometimes I despise these people with their notorious and wicked self. But coming back to what I was saying, there are many projects that I can point to in which the coalition focused on enhancing and improving the lives of our indigenous people. I don't see this current installed regime heading in that direction. I see them rather filling their pockets and um, attempting to hoodwink our indigenous people by probably believing in handouts and so on, rather than providing infrastructure improvement, healthcare services, better educational facilities, and so on. But I want to say to our indigenous brothers and sisters, have no fear. The coalition will be back, and we will continue from where we left off, and that is to provide a better life to you and a better livelihood to you and your families. We believe in bridging the gap between the hinterland and the coastland. We would like to see one Guyana and not the one that Irfan speaks of. We want to genuinely see one Guyana that can basically move together as a force to be reckoned with. Not only are we celebrating Indigenous Heritage Month, but we have also begun the month of Education Month. And Education Month is important because it is that month where the focus is a little bit greater in terms of educational programs, educational seminars, and the likes. You know, you would normally have tours, you will normally have exhibitions, and a whole host of other activities to show the talents of our school children mostly. I'm not sure if we are going down that road this time around because of the COVID pandemic, of course, and the COVID is a very serious matter, and we have to be very cognizant of the fact that exposing our people in this kind of environment can basically present a bad state of affair, and we would not wish for that to happen. But then we have a callous government, a government that seems not to want to focus on protecting its people. So we are forced basically to protect ourselves, and now we are forced in this education month to decide on whether or not we are going to take that risk of sending our children back to school, which the government seems hell-bent on opening on for the 6th of September 2021. I have had a close look at how the government is rolling out their program to reopen school, and I'm not in agreement with it in its entirety. I believe there is still going to be too much of a crowd in the schools, especially the heavily populated schools, and I don't believe the focus of ensuring that there is social distancing, ensuring that there is, well, I should say physical distancing, ensuring that there is sanitization regularly, ensuring that there is adequate face masks, hand sanitizers, and basically preparing the school for what it is to come. And that worries me. You have a school like, let me use the school, Lenora Primary School, a very popular school. Lenora Primary School has close to 1,000 students or 1,000 pupils, and I see that they're only holding back one grade as they are having the 5 other grades going to the school. I don't think that was the best approach. I don't wish onto our children COVID-19, but it scares me to know that the Ministry of Education is forcing to open the school and not guaranteeing the parents that there is the adequate means of ensuring that their children don't get COVID-19. That is scary. I mean, I think that they should have really brainstormed this a little bit more. I think that they should have really incorporate all the stakeholders. I think if there was meaningful consultation with the political opposition and stakeholders, be it the PTA and so on, probably we could have had a better decision in terms of how we will facilitate the reopening of schools. And you know, we are in trying circumstances, we are in trying times, and when we are experiencing these kinds of difficulties, it calls for us to improvise, and probably a relook at the system could have facilitated us even looking at Saturday and Sunday as days that we can probably teach our children, because we are looking at you know, we are looking at ensuring their safety is of paramount importance, but at the same time, we want them to be academically qualified in their respective levels. So we have Saturday and Sunday. We could have gone into a discussion so as to ascertain whether those days could have been used for the purpose of disseminating knowledge and so on. But the administration, the regime, the installed government is not dealing with consultation. They are not practicing consultation. They are already an installed set of people. They have already rigged their way into government. They are already stealing taxpayers' money. They have already put a heavy cost of living onto the people of this country. Corruption is at a different level, and the least one would expect from them is consultation for the bettering of our people. That's all we're saying. Consult, consult. With consultation, you are likely to make fewer mistakes. You are likely to make fewer issues. And if you consult with the political opposition and you consult with the stakeholders, then nobody can come on any program to cuss you out. Nobody would not come on any program to say you're doing X, Y, and Z wrong. You have to involve everyone in this period, especially in this period. But consultation seems to be something that none of them on the PPP side wants to practice. And that's because they're afraid that if they consult, we will be able to figure out how is it that they're stealing the taxpayers' money. But we have to consult with them to know that there are people who are coming back and telling us what is going on in this country and what is going on with the manner in which the PPP regime is handling the whole entire management of the country. Let me take the opportunity to shout out to all of you who are watching us here on Benchcop Radio 107.1 and request of you to share the live stream. Carol Roberts, please share the live stream. Charmin Morris, please share the live stream. Cheryl Greenwich, please share the live stream. And if we share the live stream, then we will be making it easier on ourselves so that when people ask questions, the answers can be provided via them looking at these respective programs and not you having to take what I am saying and then transfer it to someone else. So do the nice thing, do the right thing, and share the live stream. I know many of you missed me. I know that I was missing in action for a couple of mornings. I think it's 3 or 4 weeks I was missing in action. Well, technically, I wasn't missing in action because I was still dominant on social media, on Facebook, and I was dealing with the United States of America. I had a visit there on two activities I merged. One was relating to an anti PPP racism protests, which took place in Brooklyn. And I'm sure many of you who are here from the diaspora participated also. It was a huge success. Many people from all walks of society and a delegation from Guyana walked walked the streets, and we basically called for the installed regime to stop practicing racism and to respect all Guyanese. And they were quick to say that they are not racist. They were quick to say that they don't practice racism. Well, there are many evidence to show that racism is dominant in Guyana. When you look at the number of people that lost their jobs from August 2nd, 2020 to now, you question how is it that people can stand with a straight face and say that they don't practice racism. When you look at how resources are disseminated, how the COVID cash grant was distributed, and the type of behavior that flowed from one village to another. And if you belong to a particular village that is associated with the installed regime, how they treat those villages in comparison with the villages that they assume are associated to the coalition. How can you stand with a straight face and say that you don't practice racism? And then there is a developing story at the Environmental Protection Agency. There are some Afro managers, Afro Guyanese managers, and the executive director is attempting to rid them from that agency, probably because he has his own people that he wants to bring. Imagine people sign contracts that last 5 years, and he's telling them that they need to bring down the contract from 5 years to 2 years or 3 years, something. Well, that's a developing one. But those are the kind of issues that we were championing in New York. And many people may want to say that why is it that you're not doing it in Guyana? But it's not that we're not doing it in Guyana. You see, the difference is that there is a more relaxed protocol in terms of the COVID and other relating matters in the States versus what happens here in Guyana. But we are setting the stage for a massive activity here in Guyana. I want to tell you that. I would not go deeper than that because I know some of the Nakavakamites and Kavakamites are on this program, and they are very well eavesdropping to know what is it that we are doing or what is it that we plan to do here in Guyana. So I don't want to release too much information because they may, you know how they stay. They're worthless. They're wicked. So help me to share the live stream. I see Colleen Isaacs. I see Lynette Warner, Calder. I see Treyon Andrews. Can we just share the live stream? I see Mr. Andrews is asking, when is Congress? Well, I want to tell you that there is a committee that was set up for that purpose. And I think he's speaking there directly to the People's National Congress reform. There is a committee that was set up, and that committee is expected to lay a report to the central exec members of the People's National Congress reform. I am a member of the People's National Congress reform, so I am also expecting that report. And after that, the democratic process will kick in. The PNC is a very democratic party, and we will deliberate at the level of the CEC and make our decisions. To all of you who are saying good night and welcome back, thank you very, very much. But I will appreciate you sharing the live stream so that many other persons can hear from me and many other persons can see me via this medium. Cost of living is still high. Cost of living is still high. Fuel price is still high. Things that were once you were able to purchase with your minimum wage or with your public service wage, you cannot now. You cannot do it now. And the regime seems not to even care as to whether you can do something or whether you cannot do something. Once they can fill their pockets, once they can continue to steal the people's money or thief the people's money, that is all they seem to be focused on. But we have a duty, and that duty is to hold them accountable. So I am going to say to you here and now that when the time comes for us to hold them accountable, we use our power, the people's power, so that we can hold them accountable for the mismanagement, the corruption, the gross behavior, the malpractices, all the bad words you can possibly think to define a government of this nature, it will be something that is necessary to use. Caroline Melville Yaris, thank you very much, and please share the live stream. I must tell you that the place is very heated in Guyana. They say that there is a heat wave that is passing over, and I wouldn't doubt it. And those of you who are on this live stream here right now, you can comment whether or not the place is extremely heated in the last couple of days or not. But it's extremely heated in my view. There has been some heavy corruption in cash distribution in our country. The People's Progressive Party is focused on doling out monies into people's hand, which can be viewed as good in the sense that you're trying to restart the economy due to COVID-19, and you will like people to spend more, and you will like people to directly go and spend the cash so it will circulate in the country. But the manner in which the People's Progressive Party is doing it, the manner in which the People's Progressive Party is doling out the cash to only their friends, I would say, and their supporters, is one that worries me, and it worries a number of other right-thinking Guyanese who want to see a country move forward in an equitable manner. And it is very unfortunate that some of the people who are associated with this cash distribution exercise is doing it in a way that they are segregating and they are disenfranchising people from getting what is rightfully theirs. My comrades, we have to recognize that this exchange from the APNU AFC to the PPP, where the PPP rigged their way into office, where there were 49 ballot boxes without statutory documents to verify the votes found in it, and where there were a series of other anomalies, a series of malpractices, a series of fraud. They're sitting there squatting there they're squatting there not enjoying the full support and confidence of the people of this country, and they continue to do these things as though they are there legitimately, as though they are enjoying it legitimately, and they are not enjoying it legitimately. They have frauded themselves there. They have crawled themselves to power through a rigged system, through rigging. The People's Progressive Party is known for rigging, and that is the unfortunate situation in our country. And we have to be absolutely careful and watch them with all our eyes, so that we can pick up whenever they determine to go down that road again, because we cannot afford to live in this country under the People's Progressive Party. We simply cannot afford to live in this country under the People's Progressive Party. Public servants were and still are proud of the coalition. They are proud of the coalition. All these things that people blame the coalition for, I think they want the coalition more than anything else right now. You want the coalition more than anything else right now, because you have a comparison before you. The People's Progressive Party for a 1-year period, and then you have the coalition. And when you draw that comparison, you see how much you miss the coalition. I am sure all public servants, even the ones that are associated to the People's Progressive Party, they miss the coalition dearly. The coalition was focusing on improving the lives of our people. The coalition was focusing on strengthening the public service so that people's lives can be better when they go for a service. When you go to the hospital, you must receive a proper service. When you go to the administration's building, you must receive a proper service, whether it's NIS, whether it is education, whether it's NDIA, whether it's the Farmers Association, wherever you have to pick yourself up and go for a service. The coalition was transforming the area that provided the service so that you can be better served. We had the Bertram Collins College of the Public Service. That was an institution that was intended to teach our people how to provide that service to the ordinary citizens. The PPP closed it down. The PPP shut it down because they don't believe in public service. They don't believe in public good. They don't believe that people should be trained and become better public servants so that they can provide better service. Now you're hearing how they basically gone back to stage one, you know. They basically gone back to stage one, where you go to for a service and the people and believe that give them own the place there. You go to the hospital, the security guards believe they own it. Or you go to some other facility and you ask for a service, the rudeness that you are met with is the PPP. We gone back to the PPP days. We gone back for the PPP days, but we cannot stay there. We have to come out of the PPP days. We have to come out. And how we are going to come out, we have to stand together. We have to stand united and strong. We have to stand and stay focused. We have to realize that going forward calls for us to be collective, calls for us to be together, calls for us to put aside our differences and embrace ourselves for the common cause. Put aside the little bickering and backbiting and so on, and hold a focus, because the ultimate goal must be getting back into office so that we can better service our people, better provide a service to our people. We look and we see what is happening at the local government commission. Imagine the coalition had a system in place where NDCs were empowered. They were empowered to employ their own people. We, the coalition government, we gave power to the ordinary people. We held 2 local government elections because we wanted the people on the ground to elect their leaders. We wanted the people on the ground to choose who they want to run their affairs. And we gave them the power to employ staff from within their communities that they believe are best suited to run the affairs of their community. The installed regime, you know what they did? They reverted that. They repealed that rule that we made, and they are now saying that they will do all employments. What it simply means is that the PPP Commissioner, Julius Faber, who is the chairman, and the other 4 other PPP members, they're going to employ their own people. Whether they're competent or not, they're going to employ their own people and feed the system with political animals, hoping to eat it out. But the infrastructure of our system is strong, and the infrastructure is not going to keep that. The infrastructure of our country is not going to keep that. It's going to be fixed. It's going to be fixed. My people, we have to fix it. This is a we thing. It's not an I thing or a you thing. It's a we thing. We got to do it. We got to hold a focus. We got to do what is necessary. We got to combine our energies and efforts and sing from the same hymn book if we are going to get these cantankerous Kavakamites out of office. The punishment is too much. The punishment is terrible, and it's going to be telling on our children and grandchildren if we don't stand up and stand up strong. We have to do what is necessary. We talk about COVID 19. Look how it is spiraling out of control. Out of control. Frank Anthony suddenly wake up and now realize that the Delta variant is in Guyana. His Trinidad had to tell him. Trinidad had to tell him. And he got himself there. He got Berry Ramsaran there. He got Leslie Ramsamy there. And he got a whole bunch of other thieves with him. And Trinidad had to say that the a visitor that traveled from Guyana was tested positive for the Delta variant. When people were telling us all the time that the Delta variant is in Guyana, Frank said, no, I didn't believe so. Suddenly now, the Delta variant there, big in Guyana, and Frank decided to accept that the Delta variant is in Guyana. Frank is incompetent. Frank's handling of this COVID-19 pandemic, terrible. Terrible. That is why we moved a no confidence motion in Frank Anthony. Because Frank Anthony is not capable to handle the situation at hand. People are dying and people are getting sick at a fast rate. And people are in the COVID-19 ICU hospital at Liliendal. And there is a possibility with the opening of school and the return to a degree of normalcy, there is a possibility that this thing can break out of control. There is a possibility that this thing can take a different toll. And there is a possibility that our country will not be in a position to handle such an outbreak. Our country infrastructure health-wise is not ready for a pandemic. We are not even ready for a normal sickness, much as a pandemic. And Frank seems not to care, but to collect the millions and collect the billions. We gotta do something. We gotta do something, George Braffett. We gotta do something, Colin Isaacs. We gotta do something, Ingrid King, Cheryl Gills, Rita Singh. We got to do something. And I don't know when all of us will realize that we have to do something. I don't know. I don't know when is it that we all will realize. Look what happened in Berbice with Pandit Rishi Bharat. Pandit Rishi Bharat is a spiritual leader in his community. A group of people were playing loud music, and all he did was to ask for it to be turned down. And Pandit Rishi Bharat, it is reported, was beaten to death. He was beaten to death, all because the man said turn down the music. Y'all think it easy? You think it easy in Guyana? It may look easy from the outside, but it is not, my people. It is not. Guyana is in serious trouble. We are in serious trouble. And today we commence the celebration, as I said earlier, of Indigenous Heritage Month, a period where we recognize and we basically give praise to the contribution of our Indigenous brothers and sisters. We're also celebrating Education Month, where we have to promote educational activities so that our children can become better at what they do. But we are at the same time fighting for survival in a country where cost of living has skyrocketed, where COVID-19 is out of control, where skullduggery is the talk of the day, where corruption from high officials is rampant, where thieving taxpayers' money has become a norm, where dictatorship at the level of the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development is taking its toll, where consultation is a thing of the past, where demons are sitting in the seat of government. That is where we are as a country. We are saddened by the current situation in Guyana. It is not what we have bargained for. We went out on March 2nd, 2020, and we honestly cast our votes for our respective political parties, and we know that the coalition was voted in to government. But you had external forces, you had people with personal interests, you had geopolitics, you had a series of issues unfolding. And those issues caused the coalition to be removed forcefully from office, and the installation of an illegal, fraudulent regime, the People's Progressive Party. But we have to hold strain. We have to hold strain. We have to stay focused, and we have to ensure that we do what is necessary. And that is to spread the message of change. Spread the message of change. And that change is to remove who we have there. They have shown us their colors. They have shown us what they're about. They have shown us that they are full of lies. They made a series of campaign promises that they cannot keep. By the way, have you ever wondered how that 20,000 scholarship program is going? That they have posters all over the country saying delivered with Priya and Irfan. And they say delivered, 20,000 scholarships delivered. Where are the 20,000 people that got them? Where are the 20,000 people that got this scholarship? Probably they're at Freedom House. Or probably they're from Russia. Or some other jurisdiction and not Guyana. But comrades, we are at a state where I say to you again, hold a focus. Don't fall prey into their little handouts. They gave you the freeness, take it. They gave you the freeness, take it, because time's hard. Time's hard, time's hard, time's hard. I'm telling you, time's hard. So you get a little freeness, take it. But don't believe that you can accept that little pittance and keep those jagabats there. We have to make the change. We have to put them in their rightful place. We have to ensure that they don't come down and sit down and stay down there. We got to pick them up and kick them like a football into the Atlantic Ocean and let the waves sail them straight across into the wilderness. And let the rightful holders of the seat of government take their place and continue with the progress. Continue with enhancing the lives of our indigenous people and our coastlanders. Continue to bridge the gap between the hinterland and the coastland. Continue to advance education so that we can continue to be proud of the products that come out of our school system. Continue to build on the health services delivery program so that people can go in there and come out smiling, happy as ever. Continue with our public works program where we can build bridges, where we can build roads, where we can build CD fences, where we can build proper infrastructure so our people can smile and say that their government has once again returned and we are delivering. Continue to hold a focus so that we can continue to give public servants better salary increases so that they can cope with the heavy cost of living. Continue to enhance our public servants so that they can develop their skills, return the Bertram Collins College of Education there, and there are so many things more that we have to continue to do. And we will do it with you by our sides. We will do it with you standing side by side. And we are going to rally the support to welcome back the APNU AFC to government. And it can only be done if we all play our part. Ladies and gentlemen, it was nice speaking to you tonight. I really feel as though it was necessary for me to do this as a one to all of you. I was going to have a guest, but I chose not to, because I believe it's necessary for me to send home the message of togetherness, the message of us being together, the message of all of us holding strain, the message of all of us holding a focus, the message of all of us understanding the importance of unity in the fight against these demons. And with that, I want to wish all of you, happy Indigenous Heritage Month, September 1, 2021. Happy Education Month, September 1, 2021. A blessed Guyana and a better Guyana is assured unto us, but we have to fight for it. We have to focus in order to get it. And we have to ensure that we do it so that our children and our grandchildren can have a better life. Thank you and good night.
Guyana, and on this auspicious day, the managers and staff of 107.1 FM would like to extend to all Amerindians a happy Amerindian Heritage Month 2021. Amerindians reflect the lifestyle, beliefs, and way of life of people who are born in an Amerindian village. We here at 107.1 FM are part of the process of preserving the Amerindian heritage and to be the source of reference. Happy Amerindian Heritage Month 2021, Guyana.
She put a pot on she hair and gone. Them a the first one out on the dam. Basket on she head, bucket in each hand. Hold up on she frock, I wanna she grandson. To the market, them a go. For the morning, the day is dawning. For cockcrow to give the villagers a warning. Rise and shine, the birds them a sing. All animal take turn as them join in the waking. Cockcrow, dagabag, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck a quack. Cockcrow, dagabag, donkey, bray, horse, and they even duck a quack. Come and hear this sweet story that tell the people about life in the country.